Hey guys, welcome to this video. I thought that I would do a follow-up video to my why my family homeschools, what we do, and what our curriculum is. So if you missed that video, go ahead and click the iCard that you're gonna see somewhere around here. So today I wanted to talk to you about my 5 most best reasons why you should homeschool. So let's get started. So I'm going to tell you my 5 best reasons why I love homeschooling and why I homeschool, and why you should do it too. Anyways, I have my little notes on my phone here, so if you see me grazing down at my phone, grazing down, I think grazing's for eating. Gazing is what I meant. If you see me gazing down at my phone, it's because I'm looking at my notes. So anyways, let's get started on my 5 best reasons to homeschool. So my number 5 reason is that I get to teach my kids whatever I want. So if you look at it this way, when you send your kids to public school, they're learning what the teachers and the government and that school wants them to learn. And all the kids are learning the exact same thing on the same level, really. But when you homeschool, I get to pick what I teach them, and I firmly believe that what you teach your child when they are very young is going to stick with them through their entire lifetime. So for instance, one of my goals is that my children know how to take care of themselves, how to, like when they grow up, they'll be able to provide for themselves and their families. So I have one daughter who's 12 years old, and a goal of mine with her is that she learns how to cook and clean and sew and do home things, because someday she's going to be married. So it's very important to me. And same with my boys. The boys, we want them to learn how to fix cars and be respectful to girls. And so what I get to teach them is what I pick to teach them. So if I want to just have like a study on sewing, then that's what we're gonna do. If I want to teach them how to fix cars, then that's what we're gonna study. So I love the flexibility that you get to teach your kids whatever you want, and you don't have to worry about what the school system's teaching them and what you're gonna have to reverse. Like, you know, if you're not into, you know, science stuff and the whole Big Bang Theory, you get to teach them creation right at home. And I think that's really amazing. You get to just like plant those seeds that's gonna last and stick with them the rest of their life. Okay, so number 4 is freedom to explore their own interests. Now this is a really big one, because when your kids go to public school, they don't have the freedom to explore what they want. I mean, maybe in some instances they will, but for the most part, they're not gonna have that flexibility. So I love to see my kids exploring their own interests and having the freedom to do that. So I'll give you a few examples. When we started our school year off this year, I asked all my kids what their goal was and what they wanted to do in this year for school and what their interests were. And I had a few different things. Hannah and I wanted to learn to sew, and so she's been really working on that and making all kinds of creations, and I love seeing that creativity, and it's something she's really passionate and interested about. And therefore, when you have passion and interest about something, you are going to flourish in it and learn and do all of it. Whereas if you're in public school and you're forced to do something that you're not interested in, you're not going to put your all into it. You might put what you need to get into it to get a B or an A or whatever, but after you're done, it's like you're not going to retain it. I mean, think about when you go to college. Think about when you went to college. How much did you remember? How much math did you retain? What were you needing to relearn when you went to college? So I think about these things when I'm homeschooling my kids. I really want them to learn what they're interested in now, so that when they grow up, they will know what their interest is going to be. And if they want to be a scientist when they grow up, they can take those math classes in college and learn when they are wanting to learn. So that is why I love the freedom for them to explore their own interests. So another reason I love exploring their own interests are, I have a almost 8-year-old son named Shiloh, and he is a very, very smart little kid. He just his mind, I don't even know where he's just so smart. And when he puts his mind to something, he gets it done. But when you force him to do something that he doesn't want to do, he's only going to do it to the extent that he has to do it to get it done. And I think that is human nature. We all do that. We're not going to do what we're not interested in. So at the beginning of this school year with him, I asked him, hey bud, what do you want to do? What do you want to learn about? And he really wanted to learn about a variety of things, but one of the things that he wanted to learn was about surviving in the wild. What do you do if you're in the wild and you survive? Now, we are a traveling family. We move for work quite often, so I think this might have sparked some interest to him on what you do if you run out of gas or if you get stuck somewhere. So I don't think it was just particular to like out in the wild, but he wanted to know, how do I survive if something happens? What do I do? And so we've been doing research on that. And I love that because it's going to give him skills and knowledge for when he's an adult. And I think that is just so much more valuable than sitting down and learning through just books. So that is another reason I absolutely love freedom of learning through the kids' perspective. Okay, so number 3, and this is a great one. You have more fun and less work. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. Less work, like they need to learn. What are you doing at home? But what I mean by this is because your kids are homeschooled and they're going to be learning what they're interested in, they're going to be retaining so much more information and retaining so much more learning skills and life skills that you're not going to have to sit down for hours every single day working on all these books and saying, please sit down, please do this. You are going to have so much more freedom, and it's going to make it so that you can go out and have more fun. Like, I love that we get our school done mostly in the morning times, like the basic academics of math and history and that kind of stuff that I know that still need to be done, but we do them like in the morning, and then we have the freedom in the afternoons. We can go to the library, we can, you know, go exploring, we can go to parks, and depending on where we live at the time, there are so many new adventures that we get to take with the kids. And I love that because while other kids are still in school from noon to 4, we're out exploring and learning about the world and learning life skills. So it's more fun and less work, and I love that. So number 2, which was almost my number 1 spot, is building your child's character and not popularity. So if your kid goes if your kids go to public school, I think you probably kind of know what I mean by this. And my first 2 kids experienced public school for a couple of years, and I saw towards like the time that we pulled them out of school when our daughter was in 3rd grade, that there was so much based on popularity that your character didn't really matter. You needed to alter your character to fit into this bubble of popularity. And it really struck me, and I didn't like it. You know, my daughter had this character that I loved. She was sweet and kind and generous and giving. And then as the years went on in public school, by the time she was in 3rd grade, it shifted to, I gotta be this other person because this is popular. And if I'm not popular, I'm gonna be made fun of. Or I'm not gonna be cool, or no one's gonna talk to me at school. And unfortunately, that is the raw truth of public school. And I'm not saying this is everywhere or for every child, but this does happen a lot. And so I love that I get to homeschool and teach my kids and build their character and who they're going to be and who the people they're going to be as they grow up, rather than trying to console them as they come home from school and build them into this popular person that alters their real character. So that is my number 2 reason why I love homeschool, is that I get to build their character and not their popularity. Okay, so my number 1 best reason to homeschool is that I get to spend quality time with my children. Now, think of this. If your child is going to public school or even a private school or any school, I guess for that matter in this instance, you are going to be spending less and less time with them. Less quality time, less time to get to their hearts, less time to know the person that they are, which means less time to build their character, which was kind of based off my number 2 reason. So basically, if your child goes to public school, they're going to be in school for somewhere between 6 and 9 hours, depending on bus ride and their age. And that is time all during the week that you will not be able to build their character, disciple their hearts. And so they do, I mean, naturally, you can't help it, but they're influenced by other children, by teachers, by principals, and by just the public school in general around them. And so when they're influenced so heavily by these things, and they're little children, you know, they can't stand up to the beliefs that they have at home when they can only learn so much about it during the weekend when you have them. And I found this to be so true because when my first two kids were in public school, I lost them during the week. They would come home and they just weren't like the kids that I knew as toddlers. Their character had shifted and our quality time wasn't really there because we had weekends. And, you know, during a Saturday, we'd finally kind of make a little progress, but then, you know, Sunday, Monday come and they're back in school again, and then they got this influence. So when you have your children at home with you, no matter what you're doing, whether you're cooking, whether you're cleaning, whether you're doing school or driving to the library, I mean, whether you're just laying on the couch drinking your coffee like maybe I do sometimes, and your kids are right there, you're still spending quality time with them. You have the freedom to answer their questions. You have the freedom to ask them questions. You have the freedom to do many things with them. And that is my number one best reason to homeschool, is the quality time you're going to spend with your children. And so I'm firm that I love my number one reason is spending time with your children. So thank you guys. I really hope you enjoyed this video of my 5 best reasons to homeschool. And if you guys like these homeschool videos, please go ahead and leave a comment in the description below because I would love to do more. I'm just not quite sure like who's really interested in it and who like isn't. So anyways, thank you again for watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe button down below and we will see you guys next time.